Hello, friends, and welcome to Let's Find Out About It. This is a time where we explore some of the topics that were mentioned in the book a little further. So, today, are you ready to hear what we will be talking about? Okay, so today we're going to learn a little about musical instruments. So, I remember at Tia's party, they had some musicians there. Do you remember that? Yes, I remember on this page we can see all of the people who are at the party. And if we look right here, I see some musicians, some people who play instruments, who make music. And I see right here they are holding their instruments. So, today we are going to learn a little bit more about some of the musical instruments that musicians play. Are you excited to learn about this? I'm so excited to talk about it with you. So, the first instrument we're going to talk about is a brass horn. And even if you do not remember, friends, you have seen a brass horn before. You know where you have seen one? Yes, you saw one in the book. If we look right here at this musician who is holding the yellow instrument close to his mouth, that is a brass horn right there. So, in order for the musician to play this instrument, I see that he's holding it very close to his mouth. And I think that he is blowing air into this tube in order for the music to come out of this hole right here. So, I know that instruments that require wind, that require air to play, these type of instruments are called wind instruments. So this brass horn right here is a wind instrument because the musician has to blow wind into it in order for it to make noise. Now, it's very cool how all we have to do is blow some air into this instrument and music, beautiful music comes out on the other end. I know that's because when the air is inside of this instrument, it vibrates. So after the musician blows some air into the instrument, the air starts to vibrate. It starts to move really, really fast up and down or side to side. And that vibration creates a low sound. It creates a deep, low sound that comes out the other end of this instrument. So our musician right here blows wind into the top of this instrument. He blows, he goes, and that air vibrates inside of our instrument. And out on the end comes beautiful music that they love to hear so much at this party because everyone is dancing and enjoying themselves. So a brass horn is not the only type of wind instruments. There are a lot of different wind instruments that exist and that require air to play. Another type of wind instrument we're going to talk about is a harmonica. So again, friends, how can we tell if an instrument is a wind instrument? Yes, because it requires air to play. So if you look right here, I have a picture of a harmonica. And I'm going to show you a video of a musician playing that harmonica. And I want you to watch that musician closely and look at how they play the harmonica. Look at how they are creating the sounds that come out. And I also want you to use your sense of hearing. I also want you to use your ears to really listen to the music and hear how the music changes in its sound as he plays. Okay? So I'm going to play that right now so you can see. Alright, friends, I hope you enjoyed that short clip of that musician playing a harmonica. I asked you to look closely at how he was playing it, and if you did that, you noticed that he was blowing air into it, and it was creating a vibration, and on the other end, we heard the music come out. I also asked you to use your sense of hearing to listen to the sounds that come out. And you might have noticed that depending on where the musician played, the pitch or how it sounded, how the music sounded, how high or how low it was changed. So sometimes the musician would play and it had a high pitch. The sound was very high, and sometimes when the musician played, it had a very low pitch. The music was low. So I know that when musicians play their music, they are able to determine the pitch, and they can do that by the vibration. So like we said, When our musician blows into his instrument, the air vibrates and creates that sound. So when the air is vibrating very, very fast, it creates a higher pitch, a higher sound. When we have a slower vibration, we get a lower sound. And so the pitch may be a little lower. And so that is how a musician may manipulate the instrument to create the type of pitch or the sound that they want to hear. Okay, friends, so we've learned about one type of instrument. We've learned about wind instruments. But there's also another type of instrument that we're going to learn about today, and that is called a percussion instrument. And I know a percussion instrument is one that you have to hit, clap, pound, shake. You have to hit in some type of way in order for that instrument to make a sound. So, you're going to do a small activity with Miss Ari, and you're going to categorize some wind and percussion instruments. Remember, how can we make music from a wind instrument? How do we create sound from a wind instrument? Yes, we have to blow into it. And how do we create sound from a percussion instrument? Yes, you either have to hit this instrument in some type of way, you have to clap it, pound it, or you may even have to shake this instrument in order for it to make a sound. So enjoy this activity with Miss Ari, and I will see you after.
Hi friends, I hope you had such a fun time learning about certain instruments and how they make different noises by doing different things. I have a really cool activity for us to do, to sort our instruments between wind and percussion. So first, let's review what we learned with Miss Khalees about what wind instruments are versus what a percussion instrument is. Remember, a wind instrument is one that we blow into and it vibrates in different ways by holding down buttons or keys, or maybe how fast or how soft you blow into the instrument creates different vibrations that changes the pitch of our instrument. And our percussion instruments make noise by tapping or shaking our instrument. We can do this with either our hands or maybe a stick if we're using a triangle, or maybe we hit two items together to make a sound. Let's get started. So I see that we have 6 instruments here, and I think that we can sort them out into their correct categories. So first, let's start with our saxophone. Our saxophone is on the very top. It is that nice shiny gold color, and the bottom of the shape, it curves upwards. So I see on our saxophone that there looks like there's some buttons or keys that we might push down to create different vibrations. Do you guys see anything else about our saxophone that could help us? I see that our saxophone has a mouthpiece, and our mouthpiece allows us to blow air into our instrument at different speeds to make it louder or softer when we play our instrument. So what category do we think that our saxophone belongs in? Our saxophone belongs in our wind category because we blow air into it to make different notes, and we use keys to make different vibrations. Our second instrument is the maracas. So we shake them and they're filled with beads or pebbles, and if you shake them harder, they become louder. If you shake them really soft, they become super quiet. You can shake them both at once, you can do one at a time, and there's many different ways that we can make our maracas make different sounds by shaking or tapping them together. What kind of instrument do you think our maracas are? Awesome. Our maracas are percussion instruments because they shake to make noise. Next, we have the tambourine. So tambourine is on the bottom right corner, and it has those cymbals around the end, but the top part is like a drum. So to play the tambourine, we can either hit the front of it or the side of it. If we hit the side of it, maybe it will make a different sound than if we hit the middle of it. And we can also shake our tambourine so that the little cymbals on the outside shake. Maybe we can make a cool beat by doing them in a rhythm. What category do we think that our tambourine is going to go in? Awesome. Our tambourine goes in our percussion category because we shake it or tap it to make a noise. We are almost done, friends. You are doing so great. Let's find out where to put our flute next. So our flute is this long silver one that has, I see, a little hole in the top of it. The flute is like our saxophone that we blow air into it and it has keys, but our flute does not look the same as our saxophone. This is because different instruments make different noises based on their shape, so air can travel through them differently. When we play our flute, we hold our flute straight up like this, and when we play a saxophone, we hold it right down in front of us. So that makes the air go in different directions, making a different noise. Also, there's a really big size difference between our flute and our saxophone. I wonder which one makes a lower pitch and which one can get to the higher pitches. What do you think, friends? I think that our flute can make a higher pitch because it's smaller. And the smaller the instrument, the less area there is for wind to go through, which makes it a higher pitched sound. So should we group our flute with our saxophone or our maracas and tambourine? A flute belongs in the wind section because we use wind to make a different sound. Next, we have the drums. So for the drums, we use those things called drumsticks to hit on our drum. And if we hit on our drum with our drumsticks really hard, it's going to make a loud sound. But if we hit our drumsticks really soft, it's going to make a really quiet sound. We can even make different beats by what kind of rhythm we're putting our drumsticks on the drum. Do we think that this instrument is like our saxophone and flute that we blow air into to make it work, or is it like our percussion instruments that we tap or shake to make a sound with? I think it's like our percussion instruments to make a sound with. Okay, we're down to our last instrument. Let's see where it's going to go. This instrument is a clarinet. I used to play this instrument when I was younger. I would push down the buttons and keys to make different noises, and I would blow into this top mouthpiece just like our saxophone, which has a piece of wood that vibrates to make the air go through the clarinet. What category do you think our clarinet should go into? With our flute and saxophone, or with our maracas, our tambourine, and the drums? Our clarinet goes with the wind instruments because just like the other wind instruments, we use the buttons and keys to make different pitches and sounds with our instruments. Awesome job, friends, for sorting out our instruments. I remember in our book, A Birthday Basket for Tia, the musicians came and played a song for Tia using a whole bunch of different instruments, but working together in harmony to make a song. Now let's go back to Miss Khalees and see what fun activity we're going to do next.
All right, friends. So while you were doing that activity with Miss Ari, I went around my house and I found some different items. So these are all items you probably have around your house, or maybe you can find something similar. So the first item I have are scissors. I have 2 markers. I have a box. Right here I have a box of paint, but you can find any type of box. I have a cup. And then I went to my kitchen and I found a pan. So Today we've talked about different types of instruments. We've talked about wind instruments like a harmonica. We've also talked about percussion instruments like drums, and you were able to sort through these with Miss Ari. You may not have some of those instruments around your house. I know I do not have any of those instruments around my house. And sometimes I like to play some music. And I know that we can get everyday items from around our house, things that we see every single day, and just use those as an instrument and we become musicians. Okay? So I have these regular items that I see around my house almost every single day. And I'm going to show you all how I can turn these items into percussion instruments. So the first thing I'm going to grab is my box and my 2 markers. So friends, remember we said that percussion instruments are things that you hit, clap, smack, shake. So how do you think I'm going to use this box and marker as a percussion instrument? Okay, those are some good guesses, friends. So now I'm going to show you how I can turn a box and 2 markers into a percussion instrument. Are you ready? Okay. Okay, so right there you can see that I was hitting my markers on my box and I created a melody. I hit a bunch of times and all of those hits came together to make a song, to make a melody. So I also have something else that we can use. I have a cup and I'm going to use my hand. So I'm going to turn this cup into an instrument. Friends, how do you think I can turn this cup into an instrument? Yes, so I am going to hit this cup with my hand and the cup is going to make a sound. So let's try it. So I know that this other instrument that I created with this box was a lot louder. When I hit it, the sound was louder. I could hear it better with my ears than when I played with this cup. That sound is softer. It's a little more quieter. I can't hear. But maybe if I wanted to make this sound a little louder, I needed a louder sound for my song or for a melody I was creating. Maybe I could use these scissors and tap. Do you think that would create a louder sound than before? Yeah, let's see. Okay, so that was definitely a louder sound than when I just tapped it. When I tapped it, I heard a soft little sound. The last thing I have is this pot. So I'm going to try to turn this pot into a regular everyday. So the last thing I have is this pot. And we are going to turn this pot into an instrument, friends. Okay? So I'm going to put it here and I'm going to use the bottom of my pot. And just like I did with the box, I'm going to tap with my markers. My friend, so that was a really loud sound. And I also heard it was a high pitch. It was a higher pitch than some of the other sounds, like when I hit the box. When I hit the box, it's a lower pitch. Can you hear that? That's a deeper sound. But when I hit this pen, that's a high sound, a higher pitch sound.